Wave of resignations hit Twitter. It comes after owner Elon Musk gave them an ultimatum to be part of the new hardcore Twitter 2.0 or receive 3-month severance. So to break down that and more, we are now joined by CNET editor-at-large Ian Sherr. Good morning, Ian. We've been seeing a lot of chaos at Twitter lately. So what does this wave of resignations mean for the company? What's next?
You know, it's really hard to tell where we're going to go from here. The indications we're hearing and the reports that we're seeing suggest that a large number of people decided to resign instead of signing on to this new hardcore version of Twitter, which, among other things, Elon Musk has suggested would include minimum 40-hour work weeks, essentially very similar to what he's done at Tesla, sleeping at the factory and all sorts of stuff like that. So I think the key question that a lot of us are going to have is, okay, if this many people have left, right? If we've lost more than half before and now more than that, when does the site start to show its problems, right? Because software is written by human beings. Human beings are not perfect, and software is not perfect. And reality is things go bad. And if there aren't enough people to fix them, then you know, at some point, things are going to just stop working.
Yeah, so going off of that, I mean, do you think users are going to start noticing this soon, or is it going to come over time? And also, I mean, do you think people are going to want to come back and work at the company even to make sure this doesn't happen?
Yeah, that's a really tough question. So the first one, right, whether or not this is going to happen over time, I imagine a lot of these things will kind of slowly build up, right? We've already seen, for example, if you log into Twitter and you have something turned on called two-factor authentication, which we highly recommend over at CNET. It basically sends you an extra code when you're typing in your password to make sure you are you. And one of the systems that does that is through a text message, right? A lot of banks do this too. Well, Twitter, unfortunately, its text messaging system apparently broke. And so a lot of people were trying to log in and suddenly couldn't. And that didn't get fixed for a long time. I don't even know if it's fixed right now. So that's an example, right, where Twitter's still working, but a part of it's not. In terms of whether people are going to be willing to come back, I think that is going to be an incredibly hard thing. Elon Musk is known throughout Silicon Valley as someone who pushes his workers very hard. And the reality is that I don't know very many people who have stayed in his orbit very long, in part because of that hard charging atmosphere. I mean, people have families, they have kids, they want to sleep. So I think it's going to be very tough for him to recruit, especially after the last month of chaos at this company.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. And before you go, I do want to talk about Elizabeth Holmes, and we're going to see what happens in court today and how the judge will sentence her. So what are you thinking is going to happen with this? I
mean, this is going to be seen as one of the most important messages to Silicon Valley from outside of the Valley, right? A lot of this is about how the legal system is saying, look, the fake it till you make it atmosphere of Silicon Valley has a limit. And here is where you need to draw the line or you're going to end up in jail. And I think if she doesn't end up in jail, a lot of people are going to say, what's the message here, right? Is fraud okay, right? The worst you're going to get is a hand slap. So I think that's going to be what a lot of people are watching for.
Yeah, I think this is going to set a certain precedent for us moving forward as well. So we'll definitely keep our eye